Well, it came to me in the usual way. My agent sent it to me, and but the thing that really struck me when I first read the script is that it was the kind of film that I had been longing to see as an audience member, longing to see as a child of Africa, longing to see as someone who had made their home in America, because I lived in Nigeria for 7 years. I'm of Nigerian descent, and you know, I've done films that that have come out of Africa and have crossed over, so to speak. In fact, one of them being The Last King of Scotland, which is, you know, a film also set in Uganda. And as much as I loved doing that film, as much as I think it's a brilliant film, what we have become used to is seeing Africa through an outsider's perspective. And that has its place and has its worth, and it produces great art. But there is something so rich about an insider's perspective. And what you know, when I first read the script of The Last King of Scotland, the Scottish doctor is the lead of the movie. That's the protagonist. It's Forest Whitaker's transcendent performance that, to be perfectly frank, forced him to the fore in that film. And that, I would argue, should have always been the narrative there. But it often isn't the case, because there has been a syndrome of we have to make Africa palatable to a Western audience. And so you have to have a white protagonist who makes it digestible. But reading this script, it's an 11-year-old girl. 11-year-old slum-dwelling girl who has this genius talent, untapped, that gets realized. That caught my attention. Then the next thing is, okay, whose perspective is this going to be? I had been a fan of Mira's for years. I remember seeing Mississippi Masala in particular, the first film of ours I saw. And just being blown away, and subsequent films since. And then meeting her and hearing of how she had made Uganda her home, and the ownership and the love for that place, I knew that the perspective would be safe. Not only has she made her home there, but she has set up a film school there to basically encourage and build up an African filmmaking voice that is going to do exactly that which I've been longing to see, which is stories told from an internal perspective about that continent. So I, then knowing that this incredible human being sat to my right was involved with it, who's also a child of Africa, who I had spoken to as we were doing, you know, we had The Butler and 12 Years a Slave out at the same time. We got to know each other, and so I recognized that there was a group here that had that perspective I'd been longing to see. And then Disney is making it. So you go, okay, so we're about to smuggle something in here with the largest media company in the world paying us to do it. Okay. So there was nothing not to love.